Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. This is I think it's the 13th of August in the year 2024. It is such a blessing and a privilege to come to you live today for Point of View with Miss Shirley Polk. I am so happy and thankful to God because He's blessed me to be here again and for you to be here. Today, we're talking about the power of saying no, and I have the exclamation mark there. When no is not enough, and I have one there too. So we're going to talk about that today. The power in saying no when no is not enough. So we're going to deal with that today. Thank you for being with me. I certainly appreciate you. You are super, and I am very thankful for you, dear God. As I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. We're going to go right into what we're going to talk about today. We're in psychology today. I'm in two sites that I haven't been in before. One is taylorcounselinggroup.com and the other is thevessel.io. Thevessel.io, and I have some great information for you today. And we're going to take heed in what we're going to hear today, and it will help us along the way. I know every one of us, I'm pretty sure, has said no to someone, and whatever the situation is, has said no to someone, and they just act like they did not get it, and they just disrespected us when we said no. And that is very aggravating, but most of all, is very what is it? Uneasy. It makes you uneasy, and sometimes it makes you afraid. And sometimes it's better to be afraid and cautious than to just haphazardly look over it. And so, let me tell you, if all else fails, I'm going to tell you this right now. Get some yonder, as Cleaster would say, call 911 if you can, but you get yourself out of the presence of whomever it is. All right? Do it. The power of saying no, and I put the power in saying no, same thing. The power of saying no, and this is Psychology Today. And this is under self-esteem. Self-esteem goes a long way. You have to have it. You have to have that. And we're building self-esteem with every show that I present by the grace of God. We're helping each and every one of us. The power of saying no. This is in Psychology Today. How to say no and increase your self-esteem and overall mental health. And this was updated in June the 19th in 2023. And it's reviewed by Abigail Fagan. All right, we're going on. The key points to this article right here are the what is bullet point one. Feeling confident and saying no can help people set clear and consistent boundaries in their relationships. Second bullet point, people can find a way to say no that feels natural, such as by sandwiching it between positive comments. Next bullet point, the third one, different forms of self care include saying no, positive affirmations, and creative activities. So, we're going to talk about this today through these sites, through this research, through this testing, all of this. I am so happy that there's so many people out here that are doing this research and helping all of us. Helping all of us. We can all need a tune up every now and then. And as some people say, every now and again. All right. So while saying no can be empowering and liberating to some, for others it can be intimidating or uncomfortable. At times, society teaches us the word no is impolite and inconsiderate. We feel more obligated to go along with things we honestly do not want to do in order to be socially accepted. And you know that's true, don't you? Yeah, all of you know that's true. Thank you for being with me. I appreciate you. Yet there are clear benefits to the word no. Saying no can create more mental health stability by helping with self care and build your self esteem and confidence by setting boundaries. Saying no may be a daunting thing to do, but there are ways to make the process a bit easier. You hear that? There is a way to make the process a bit easier, and we have to study this and we have to practice it, okay? Different ways to say no. One of the first steps to harnessing the power of no is to find a way to say no that feels naturally and authentic for you. And I am live today. I'm just not going to come on camera today, all right? But I'm here in the real life, all right? One of the first steps to harnessing the power of no is to find a way to say no that feels natural and authentic for you. Perhaps you may find the sandwich method helpful. Talking about the sandwich method, let's see what it is. The sandwich method is an approach that involves sandwiching something that individuals may consider negative between two positives. You hear that? The sandwich method is an approach that involves sandwiching something that individuals may consider negative between two positives. Tell the person something positive followed by the no and end with something supportive or positive. That's neat. For example, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate you including me and being thoughtful. However, I won't be able to make it. I would still really enjoy meeting up with you. I'll look at my schedule for some dates I'm available so we can spend some time together. That's an example, okay? You may also want to reflect and figure out why you're saying no to something, all right? You want to reflect and figure out why you're saying no to something. Is it because you don't want to go to a certain event with certain people? Do you feel uncomfortable going out due to the pandemic? Are you tired and need a break from a busy schedule? Reflecting on your feelings, understanding why no might help you, and recognizing behavioral patterns can all help you feel more confident in saying no. Isn't this good? This is so good. This is so good. It's also important to keep in mind that saying no to something but giving other options that better fit your needs can also be an effective way to harness the power of no. Remember that your needs are important and your decisions can directly affect your time and energy. You remember that. I'm going to reiterate that. Remember that your needs are important and your decisions can directly affect your time and energy. Now we're going to the section setting healthy boundaries. We all have various roles in our work, parenting, social obligations, and family dynamics. These roles can challenge our abilities to set boundaries. Learning about yourself and finding your inner power is crucial to your health and well being. And you see, I'm stressing your, don't you? I'm stressing your. Learning about yourself and finding your inner power is crucial to your health and well being. Consider setting boundaries around goals you have for yourself. For example, if one of your goals is to create a better work life balance, you may say no to a call or meeting outside your normal work hours using some of the techniques outlined above. You can do it. You can do it. Saying yes or no to something can also be effective in something as small as your social media. Understand that not everyone is a friend. And see, that's what you have to understand. Not everyone is a friend, and it is okay to say no to a friend request. It's okay. It's you, it's your page. If you are uncomfortable with certain posts from followers, perhaps you can tailor as much as possible what comes across your feeds. Sometimes these small steps towards setting boundaries can dramatically improve your mental health. And that's what I tell people. And it's your business, whoever does not like Facebook, doesn't want to be on there. That's your business, that's your prerogative, that is your right if that's what you want to do. And some people, I don't know, there's so much mess, but I tell them, you can tailor your page to fit you. That's what I do. But it's up to us as individuals as to what we want and we don't want, what we'll do, what we won't do, what we'll put up with. It's up to us. Boundaries can be flexible when appropriate. Boundaries can be flexible when appropriate. Take time to reassess your boundaries, taking into account the pros and cons. And remember, boundaries do not have to be permanent. Oh my goodness. Boundaries do not have to be permanent. And here are some forms of self care, and this is Psychology Today. While working on saying no and setting boundaries, the act of saying no can actually be a form of self care for some individuals. In addition to saying no, you may also want to incorporate additional self care activities. Saying no to certain things can be an act of self care by creating time or energy for things that help you feel better about yourself, your relationships, or your overall experience in the world. See, take care of you, self care. For instance, by saying no to an invitation, even if it's something you want to do, when you are snatched or stretched thin, you give yourself the opportunity to have more energy and less stress for the next activity on your schedule or for your important relationships. Hey, this is you, your time. If God wanted all of us to act like the other and do everything the other one does and all of that, He would not have made us with individual minds, bodies, souls, spirits. He wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have done that. You have a right to take care of you. You have a right to take care of you. Another type of self care to try is positive affirmations. Positive affirmations, which is a great way to remind yourself of your victories and the positive qualities you possess. Another type of self care is engaging in creative activities such as art, dance, meditation, and yoga. And there are other things too, okay? It's important to find ways to better your mindset. Our thoughts can play a key role in our happiness and triumphs. Studies show self care can improve our overall health and relationships, and the benefits can last for years. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Now, the next part here is when to recognize concerning patterns of behaviors. When to recognize concerning patterns of behavior. Okay, we're going right along. This is so good. I am so happy for all of this information. Standing firm in your decisions and being able to express yourself can be so rewarding, but there are also some signs to keep in mind when it is not being harnessed in a way to empower. You hear that? Isolating behaviors, withdrawal, loss of interest in activities, or having feelings of worthlessness are examples of signs that your no means something more. These can be more indicative of saying no because of a depressive struggle or a more serious mental health struggle. If you find yourself saying no in a way that leads to isolation or withdrawal, then it might be time to see a mental health professional. Oh, yes. Oh, this is so good. Overall, there isn't a right way to say no. You hear that? Overall, there is not a right way to say no. There are so many approaches to excuse me. There are so many approaches to expressing yourself. Try out a few ways and see what works best for you. You will never be able to please everyone, and you'll never know an outcome if you don't try. Remember to let your inner confidence shine in your decisions and ability to say no. Oh my goodness. And this is Keisha Moore, LCSW. She's a therapist at the Menninger Clinic with special interests including anxiety, depression, grief, life transitions, and then that's the LGBTQ plus related concerns, chronic illness, disability, and medical crisis. And so this is the information on the author of this piece, and this piece is in Psychology Today, the power of saying no. Now we go to our next. I'm going to go to the signs here. There are 8 subtle signs someone doesn't take you seriously according to psychology. And so when no is not enough, we're going to find out how to deal with these people when no is not enough. But I want to give some subtle signs here. And this is by Ethan Sterling. And this is the vessel.io. The vessel.io. Okay? 8 subtle signs someone doesn't take you seriously according to psychology. Now, recognizing when someone doesn't take you seriously can be tough. It's subtle, it's a subtle art of reading between the lines, discerning body language, and interpreting tones. That's right. This is so true. As per psychology, there are certain telltale signs that reveal when someone isn't giving you the respect or seriousness you deserve. And so the author here is going to say, he's going to share with us 8 subtle signs that someone might not be taking us seriously. So the next time we'll know exactly what to look for. I like this. We'll know exactly what to look for. Knowledge is power, isn't it? Knowledge is power. Number one, they constantly interrupt you. These are signs to look for when somebody and to take notice of when someone is not taking you seriously. And I'm telling you, this could be the difference between life and death. Yes, it could. You know, I'm a serious person, and I'm lighthearted too at times. But when it comes to taking care of me and you, all of us, I'm serious about this. Number one, they constantly interrupt you. These are signs, subtle signs to notice about people who don't take you seriously. Imagine you're in the middle of a conversation and the other person keeps cutting you off. Constant interruption can be a glaring sign that someone doesn't take you seriously. When someone respects your opinions and values your input, they will listen attentively. However, if they're constantly interrupting or talking over you, it's clear they don't consider your point of view as important. I'm telling you, and people have done us like that, haven't they? And hopefully we haven't done people like that, but if we have, now we know better and we won't do that anymore. Because to get respect, we show respect. We want to be respected and we want to respect others. Okay? I'm, I'm, I'm saying that because I know you already know that. Okay? However, if they're constantly interrupting or talking over you, it's clear they don't consider your point of view as important. The behavior can be subtle and sometimes unintentional. And yes, it can be sometimes unintentional, but that doesn't make it any less significant. So keep an eye out for this sign, and next time you're in a discussion, okay? Keep an eye out. Number two, they never make eye contact. And he goes on to say, I was in a gathering once trying to share my thoughts on a topic we were discussing. This one person, and he said, let's call him John, wouldn't look me in the eye. Every time I spoke, John's eyes would wander off to other people or he'd start looking at his phone. It was as if my words didn't matter. So, this is a subtle but definite sign that someone isn't taking you very seriously. Oh, yes, it sounds simple, but that's very important, okay? Eye contact is a form of respect and shows that the listener is engaged. If they're avoiding your gaze, it might be their way of subconsciously dismissing what you are saying. So keep in mind, that person might just be having a tough day. Don't always take it personally. Don't always take it personally, okay? Number three, they're constantly checking their phone. It's hard to imagine life without our smartphones. But when it comes to interacting with others, our little screens can be a big distraction. If someone is constantly checking their phone or even responding to messages while you're talking, It's a sign that they are not taking you seriously. Research has shown that the mere presence of a smartphone can reduce the quality of conversation and decrease the levels of empathy exchanged. And we know that is so true, isn't it? If they're not just glancing at their screen but actively engaging with it during your chat, take note. They might not be giving you the respect you deserve. Number four, they downplay your achievements. Oh my goodness, I think we've all probably experienced this and hope that if we've done this, that we'll never do it to someone again because things, what people, their accomplishments, and they're excited to tell you about something, listen to them. You might not always agree with what they're doing, or you might not think it's that super duper, but to them it is. To them it is. So number four, they downplay your achievements. Ever shared a piece of good news or an achievement only to have it brushed aside or belittled? We probably all have, haven't we? This can be a subtle sign that someone doesn't take you seriously. If they're constantly downplaying your achievements or making them seem less significant, it could indicate a lack of respect or seriousness towards you, and that's a fact. They might not see your successes as important or worthy of recognition. Next time you share something positive and the response is dismissive or minimizes your accomplishment, remember this could be a sign they're not taking you seriously. Number five, they never remember personal details. They never remember personal details. We all know how it feels when someone remembers small details about us. It makes us feel seen and valued. Now, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So when people forget these details, it can sting. It can sting. So if someone constantly forgets personal things you shared with them, like your birthday or your favorite book, it can feel like they're not taking your relationship seriously. This might seem like small things, but they actually speak volumes about how much someone values their connection with you. When you notice someone repeatedly forgetting these details, know that it could be a subtle sign they're not taking you as serious as they should. That's so true. Number six, they don't value your time. And he goes on to tell us of an experience. He said, I once had a friend who would consistently run late for our meetings. Despite any reminders and pleas, their tardiness never improved. The habitual lateness can be a sign that someone doesn't take you seriously. If they're not respecting your time, it's likely that they don't value your presence or consider your commitments important. Remember, everyone has the same 24-hour day. I like that, don't you? Remember, everyone has the same 24 hours a day. Good evening, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being with me. If they can't make an effort to respect your time, it might be time to reconsider their place in your life. I'm telling you. Number seven, they make decisions without consulting you. In any relationship, be it personal or professional, decision making should ideally be a shared process, and that's a fact. So when someone starts making decisions that affect both of you without consulting you, It could be a sign they're not taking you seriously. If they're making plans, changing schedules, or taking actions that impact you without your input, it shows a lack of respect for your feelings and your opinions. Recognizing this sign can help you address the issue directly and assert your rightful place in the decision making process. If all else fails, make a change, okay? Number 8, they dismiss your feelings. They dismiss your feelings. The most crucial sign that someone doesn't take you seriously is when they dismiss your feelings. If you express how you feel and they brush it off, belittle it, or ignore it altogether, it's clear they're not respecting you. Now, that's a fact. It's clear that they are not respecting you. Your feelings are valid, and anyone who takes you seriously should acknowledge this. They should acknowledge that your feelings are valid, just like theirs. Nobody has the right to invalidate your emotions, nary a one. So, if they're dismissing your feelings, it's a glaring sign they're not taking you seriously. It didn't say subtle, it said it's a glaring sign they're not taking you seriously. And so, here are the final thoughts to this wonderful piece here. And we are in the vessel.io. Final thoughts. It's all about respect. It's all about respect. At its core, not being taken seriously boils down to a lack of respect. It's about how someone values your thoughts, your feelings, and your time. Psychology tells us that respect is fundamental to any healthy relationship, whether personal or professional. Mutual respect forms the basis for effective communication, positive interaction, and meaningful connections. When you notice these subtle signs that someone isn't taking you seriously, remember this: you deserve respect. Your thoughts matter, your feelings are valid, your time is precious. As the great philosopher Immanuel Kant once said, that's Kant, and that's Immanuel, Immanuel. In law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. Wow. I'm going to do that again. As the great philosopher Immanuel Kant once said, in law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. So let's apply this principle to our interactions and treat each other with the seriousness and respect we all deserve. When you feel undervalued or brushed aside, remember these signs and stand up for the respect you deserve. Because it's not just about being taken seriously, it's about being treated with the dignity that every human being deserves. Oh my goodness, that is so good. And this is the vessel.io. Now we're going to our next article, and we are in taylorcounselinggroup.com. Taylor TaylorCounselingGroup.com. Never been to this page before, and then the previous site, I hadn't been there before, and I really am so thankful that I got that research. This is what to do when people won't take no for an answer by Taylor Counseling Group, and this is reviewed by Dr. Christopher Taylor. And this was published on February the 7th in 2023. It's what to do when people won't take no for an answer. And I was, all of this stemmed from the movie. Do you remember the movie Looking for Mr. Goodbar? And I know it's the plot is different, but then I think about people bother them. Well, I'd like to do this and I'd like to do that, and then people just go ahead and say yes, and it's to their detriment. Okay, so this Looking for Mr. Goodbar came to mind, and then this is where all this came out of. Okay, not the plot, but there's so many things that go through my mind, and thank God for feeding this to me. Not everyone is capable of accepting no as an answer. Those who won't accept your answer often hope they can change your mind. So while some can respect your decision, others may push until they get you to bend to what they want. They'll keep on pushing and pushing until you just give up, just bend to what they want. Whether you're making a business deal, meeting new people, or navigating a relationship with a personal family member or friend, knowing how to say no is helpful. Discover why some people act this way and how you can put your foot down in these situations. You have to know. We're learning. And if you already know this, please share this with someone because you can help someone along the way. Why some people can't take no for an answer. Here we go. Negotiation can quickly turn into manipulation when people don't understand how to communicate in a healthy manner. This is especially true if people never learned that they won't always get their way. People who haven't achieved emotional and intellectual maturity often don't know how to handle disappointment, which can cause them to pressure others to get what they want. People who won't take no for an answer may also be narcissistic with a high sense of self importance. Narcissists can become easily upset with criticism and often lack empathetic feelings. Fearing disappointment or missing an opportunity to feel appreciated, a narcissist may push you to make decisions or pursue actions that satisfy their desires. And let me tell you, these actions that satisfy their desires, who's to know what they might be? Saying no to a narcissist or to narcissists can be challenging because they often won't respect your decision. They may accept your answer on the surface, but become annoyed, make you feel bad about your decision, or become passive aggressive. If a narcissist or anyone else won't take no for an answer, knowing how to reaffirm your decision and stick to it can help you remove yourself from an uncomfortable situation. And this is where we worked up to how to respond to someone who won't take no for an answer. How to respond to someone who won't take no for an answer. Hello, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In many situations, people will respect your wishes and understand when you don't want to do something. In many situations, they will. So oftentimes, they will continue asking or leading you in a specific direction that could transform your no to a yes or maybe. Learning how to say no to someone who won't take no for an answer can help remove you from these conversations and ensure you only perform actions that make you feel comfortable and safe. So, here are some tips for saying no. Here we go. The first one, be kind and firm. Be kind and firm. Any meaningful conversation should begin with a clear understanding of what's happening. Know what the other person is asking so you can confidently provide an answer without seeming unsure. When you say no, remain calm and kind, but firm. Being kind and firm can let the other person know you respect them and yourself. Avoid getting annoyed or being judgmental to prevent yelling or verbal spats. In some cases, you may want to acknowledge the good you recognize in someone's request. For instance, if a family member asks you to visit and you don't want to, you can express gratitude for the invitation. Explain that you would enjoy spending time with them if this is true, and solidify your stance by briefly explaining why you cannot attend. Refrain from making it seem like other obligations are preventing you from attending because the other person may take this as a sign that they can sway you. Okay, got that done. Next, say it and stick to it. Carry a confidence in this next step by standing by your answer. Stay concise with your reasons for saying no and express that you're happy with your decision. This will give the other person less opportunity to argue and keep the conversation brief. Okay? You tell them no, you stay concise with your reasons for saying no, and express that you are happy with your decision. And so this will give the other person less opportunity to argue and keep the conversation brief. Remember that you don't need their approval, but should recognize their feelings. Sometimes people ask simple requests like making time to stop at the grocery store during a busy day. Other times, friends and family might request significant commitments like planning a long trip or leading or lending money. In either case, showing the other person that you understand their feelings can ease the conversation and help them feel love and recognition if that's something you want to express. For example, rather than saying, "You've asked me for money many times and never paid me back," try something like, "I understand you're in a hard spot, but I don't have anything I can give." You hear that? Next, express your feelings if you're uncomfortable. If the other person persists in changing your answer and you're getting uncomfortable, express your feelings. It can feel challenging to face confrontation, but you should never sacrifice your well being to avoid denying someone's request. Be open and expressive rather than reverting to a quiet or people pleasing demeanor. You got to stand up for yourself. You have to, okay? Stand up for yourself by saying precisely what you mean so the other person cannot misconstrue your intentions. Doing so can create a more open and respectful sphere for communication and ensure both sides understand the other. Refrain from phrasing your feelings as a direct result of the other person's actions, saying, I feel uncomfortable completing this task and would appreciate it if we could change the conversation. It's better to say than, you're making me feel uncomfortable because you won't stop asking. You hear that? So it's telling us to refrain from phrasing your feelings as a direct result of the other person's actions. And this is an example of what we could say. I feel uncomfortable completing this task and would appreciate it if we could change the conversation. And so it's better to say that than to say you're making me feel uncomfortable because you won't stop asking. And we don't know what that could trigger on the person either. Reevaluate the relationship if they won't stop. Reevaluate the relationship if they won't stop. True friends and supportive family members will respect your decisions and understand when to stop pressuring you. If someone in your life constantly places you in these situations and refuses to relent in their requests, it's likely time to reevaluate your relationship with them. I know that's right. So having an open and honest conversation might be an excellent way to transform your relationship and become more comfortable around them. You may need to reset boundaries or form a mutual understanding of acceptable and unacceptable behaviors. However, some people may react negatively to your conversation, and reducing or eliminating your exposure to them might be the best option. Sometimes you've got to move around, I'm telling you, for your own well-being and safety. Learn to say no is our next part. Learn to say no through counseling. We're closing out here, getting ready to close out. And I'm going to talk about the Taylor Counseling Group. It offers affordable, reliable, and accessible care, and they provide counseling services throughout Central Texas with professionally trained, highly skilled, and properly licensed providers. And they believe everyone should be able to access premium mental health care, and they welcome people from age 5 to adults to serve your needs. And so it's really good. This is Taylor, TaylorCounselingGroup.com. And looky here, I am finished. But I thank you, and I thank you so much for being with me. It is such an honor. It is such a pleasure. It is such a privilege for you to be here with me today and for me to be with you. I just, I just really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy doing this. So I'm going to sign off now. I love you, and I hope that this has helped you tremendously. And I ask you again if you would share this with your followers, with your friends, however, please, because somebody needs this. Somebody needs this. Enjoy the remainder of your day. You are wonderful. You are awesome. And I am just, like I said before, I am so thankful for you being here with me. God willing, from the files of Dr. Mack will be on tomorrow at 2:15 p.m. and on Thursday, Point of View will be back on again. And Friday, the Mother's Boy Inc. Saturday, Greater Gospel Temple and Demonstration of God Ministries. Saturday evening Bible lesson session and Sunday morning. Greater Gospel Temple and Inspiration of God Ministries. Uh, Sunday morning, manna from heaven. Enjoy the remainder of your day.